Hello, everybody. Welcome to Late Night Football. Welcome to our match reaction show. First one for today. It's finished Nottingham Forest 0, Tottenham 2. And I mean, you could really call it Harry Kane's game, isn't it? The big white machine, as I call him in my tagline. White because he's wearing white of Tottenham, of course, just to clarify that. But for those who are WWE fans, they might know what I mean with that. But it's a fantastic game from both sides. Actually, it's a really entertaining game, end to end at times, brilliant to watch. Nottingham Forest will feel like they could have got a point out of that. I thought in parts they were the better team in certain parts of the game, not throughout. I think Spurs probably deserved the 2-0 win by the end. I think after the 17th minute they kind of ran out of steam, Forest, and I think Spurs kind of capitalized on that. But there are things to take away, good things to take away for Forest as well from this game, but as well as good things to take away for Spurs. I mean, another clean sheet, which is fantastic for Spurs. It was a little bit nervy at times, and I do feel that Nottingham Forest didn't make the most of the openings that they had, the opportunities that they had. We'll go through that. But if you look back at the final analysis of the game, I think Spurs will look at this as a vital 3 points. They'll also look at this as a wonderful validation of their defense as well to keep another clean sheet. And I think that is something that Conte will take heart from. So talking about the game itself, I think Forest took the risk. I mean, they always play high risk, high attacking, high intensity football, and they did that. And it was a risk because what it meant was they were pressing high and they were pressing in numbers and they were bombing forward in numbers as well. But it left a lot of gaps open for Spurs to exploit. So every time they got the ball, they could easily bypass the midfield, could cut through the lines and put in counter attacks. And they did that quite often in the game. Actually, they had quite a few counter opportunities. The fact that they only scored one goal from that will be a little bit disappointing, but there are a lot of opportunities like that. But the first goal came from something, it was a little bit of a lucky break, but it also came kind of because of the high intensity, because the ball kind of ricochets off a Nottingham Forest player. It falls into the path of Kulusevski. He runs with the ball and then he puts in a wonderful reverse pass. That reverse pass is very good. You appreciate that more and more as you see it because you normally look at the fact that only he knows that he's going to play that pass and only he can see Kane. Everybody else kind of does a backstop thinking he's going to probably try to shoot, is going to try to pass it over to the left hand side, but he actually goes for the reverse pass to Kane. I don't know what McKenna is doing there, backing off from Kane. You've got to try and cover him, but he doesn't because I think he's anticipating the shot. But once it comes out to Kane, you've got to try and close him down the line to take a touch, which is what they did. And then Kane's got all the time in the world to pick out a shot. I was actually surprised that Henderson didn't attempt to save. I don't know whether he was unsighted or whether he was caught out by it, but he just looked flat-footed, like he didn't know where the ball was going. So I mean, to me, I think Henderson was a little. I don't think he was chiefly at fault for both the goals, but he was a little bit at fault for both of the goals. And in some ways, his penalty save will kind of obscure that, and he made a lot of other saves as well. So that was obscure that. But I think if you look at the final analysis, I think he was a little bit at fault for both goals. And for that reason alone, I don't think he can ever be a top goalkeeper. That's the reason why I think he's a good goalkeeper for a mid-table side, for a lower table team. Sheffield and Nottingham, like those kind of teams, he's a good goalkeeper for them because he can make a lot of saves and he's got good shot stopping ability. But when it comes in those crunch moments where you've got to be decisive, where you've got to, where you've got to be on your feet, where because for big teams you don't have to make a lot of saves. What you have to do is you have to be able to anticipate ahead of time where things are going to be, and you've got to be more alert because you can always go through game. It'll be more concentration basically. I don't think he has that concentration. But anyway, that's a conversation for another day, of course. But that first goal gave Spurs a nice bit of leg up because what that meant was they could then execute their game plan that they wanted to. Because when you call that opening goal, you're not as desperate as panicky, and they could just go, okay, let Nottingham Forest come to us and we'll continue attacking. And that's what they did. They just suited that Nottingham Forest a lot of chances. It was a very risky game plan, by the way, because Nottingham Forest had a lot of chances. Actually, especially with the crosses in the box. I felt every time that Nottingham Forest got past, and this is weird because Spurs had 5 defenders, but every time Nottingham Forest got behind them and then put a cross in, Spurs just looked like they had no idea. It was just the fact that nobody from Nottingham actually gambled and tried to get on the end of those crosses. But if they had, Spurs would have been in trouble, but nobody ever tried to get that. But they just look uneasy. And I think that's another issue with the back five, is because it's a little bit of a thing. Well, we've got 5 defenders, so everybody kind of reaches to the other, and it creates those issues. But I was just felt that Nottingham Forest didn't do enough on the chances that they got. And that just how it went. In the second half, I mean, there were a lot of gilded chances. I mean, the 50th minute pass, that was just brilliant. I mean, it's a great pass over to Morgan Gibbs-White, and he puts in a wonderful cross. So once he puts in a wonderful cross over to Yates, and Yates really should score. It's an open goal, is gaping, he should score. He misses it. He misses the target. And I thought that might have been the turning point of the match, because if he had scored that, completely different game. But he didn't, he missed it. And that really just summed up Nottingham Forest. Right? They had so many openings. They didn't make Brennan Johnson look full of running, full of endeavor, but never really got himself into good shooting, into positions where he could, get a good chance. Or when he got them, he shot them straight at the keeper. Morgan Gibbs-White, a lot of energy, a lot of enterprise, wasn't really, creating those guilty chances, except for the one that he did, which wasn't taken. Jesse Lingard, the same thing, a lot of energy, a lot of enterprise, but that cutting edge was missing from Nottingham Forest. And then the penalty. Now, was that a penalty? I think it was. I think it was. I think it was one of those penalties that it was unfortunate because it wasn't intentional, but it is a penalty because Cooper's hand is up and it touches her. So you've got to give that as a penalty. So it is a penalty. And at 1-0, and and you're thinking Harry Kane steps up, he's gonna score it. It's gonna be 2-0 game over. He doesn't. He misses it. 21 state penalties, and then he misses that one, and that just gave a lift to the crowd. And that just gave a lift to everybody. And you thought, okay, maybe Spurs can now use that momentum and get a goal. And they did have a good chance. Actually, I think it was I think I can't remember. I think it was Nico Williams. Yes, Nico Williams. He had a wonderful opportunity. The ball comes to him, and I think he almost tries to side foot it into the corner, and he just completely gets it wrong, and it goes wide. If that had gone in, again, same thing. If that had gone in, the game, complete complexion of the game changes, but it didn't. And I don't know, for some reason after the 65th minute, maybe it was the intensity that got to them, and they got tired. Nottingham Forest just completely faded away from the game after the 65th, 70th minute, just kind of faded away. Spurs started breaking more regularly. They started having more opportunities. Up to that point, I think they had only had and Kane only had one shot on goal actually to that point, and then suddenly there were chances coming. Son should have also scored. The chance that came to him, he tried to square it to Kane. It didn't reach him. He had a couple of other opportunities. Son wasn't very happy when he came off, and I think the reason for that is I think he knows his place is under threat. Because Kulusevski offers something completely different. I don't think you can ever have a front three of Son, Kane, and Richarlison. But if one of the two players has to come off, it's going to be Richarlison. It's going to be Son, because Kane is not coming off. He's not playing. So I think Son came off. I think he was upset because of that, and hopefully, he'll have some. He's not scored a goal for 4 games, so he's got to try and find his form back as well in front of goal. I don't think he had a bad game, but that will be a concern. From Spurs' point of view, they'll just think, well, Son's not scoring, but we're still winning games, so what's the big deal? Right, that's the way they will look at it. And Richarlison was involved in the second goal. Again, Sessegnon breaks forward, and he should be crossing it much earlier, but he just waits until Worrell can get the block in. And for some reason, Nottingham just went to sleep after that block. I mean, they just figured. I think they just figured, attack's gone. It's okay. We'll just reset and go again. And Richarlison just said, no, I'm just gonna cut in, and he wins the ball back. Everybody's gone to sleep, and the cross comes in again. Henderson. He's got a no man's land. He's got to either decide, am I waiting for because once Kane has got the shot, he's not saving it anyway. But if he's going to stay on his line, he's got to stay on his line and try and attempt to save. Or he's got to come and claim the cross. He kind of just gets caught in no man's land where he doesn't know what he's doing. And it's just a free open goal for Kane to aim at. And that again, I don't think Henderson was the major culprit. I think that was defense just went off to sleep when, don't know what they were doing there. I think all of them were just caught up by the fact that the ball came in. I think they didn't realize that Johnson would win the ball back. But Henderson's got to be decisive there as well. He's got to decide: am I coming for the cross? Am I staying back? What am I doing? But he just got caught in no man's land, and 2-0 game over. Really, I mean, Nottingham Forest, they were never getting back into it at 2-0, and it's a routine victory for Spurs. And I think Conte will be happy with that. I think Conte will be happy with the 3 points that he's got, because I think Nottingham Forest will be a handful for a lot of teams. They won that midfield battle. I think they won that midfield battle, especially in the first half. They were just all over Spurs completely, and that's something that they will take hard from. Question is, that intensity, how much is it going to wear them out going into the relegation battle? That's the question, I think, from Nottingham Forest's point of view. For Spurs, it's tough to say at the moment. The thing is, they're winning games even though they're not necessarily playing very well. But then you wonder, are they not really playing very well, or is that just the game plan of sitting back and countering, and does that work? And that's, I think, the question. It didn't work completely against Chelsea, but it has worked against Wolves, and it has worked against Spurs. So you've got to kind of take it that way. They're still level on points with City. They're ahead of Liverpool, so and Chelsea as well. So must be doing something right? But anyway, let me know in the comments. What do you think about the game? I like Spurs, and I do believe that they will fin that race for top 4 now is really heating up. You got Arsenal, you got Spurs, Chelsea, Liverpool, all 4 teams fighting for 3 spots. That's something that could be exciting, of course. Let's see where Spurs finish. I do believe they'll finish in the top 4. But let me know in the comments. What do you think about the game? Of course. Do smash the like for Harry Kane. I think man of the match for sure. That by far man of the match. I don't think anybody else even comes close. But yeah, do smash the like for Harry Kane, of course. And remember to subscribe to our channel. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube. We're gonna have a couple more videos today. So if you subscribe, you'll get notified as soon as they drop. Thank you so much for watching. We'll see you again soon. Bye bye.